I'm Dr. Tara. I am a certified sexologist and a tenured professor. Last year, I trained to become a professional dominatrix. That day, she brought 2 slaves to help train me. One of them was a TV executive, the other one was a lawyer. The lack of sexual connection in long-term relationships is an epidemic.
What's the most common thing you get in the DM?
I want to bust inside you.
This is going to be a f***ing curve. I'm ready for it.
This is going to be hard. Do you find your partner attractive?
You turn the tables here, Dr. Tara. Turn up the heat.
The best way to show people watching and listening how this works is we don't know how to have good sex. We were never taught. We were also never told to pick up a book about it to learn. We were told a lie. You should just know how to do it. It's animal instinct. Have you seen animals fuck? They fucking kill each other.
Dr. Tara, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. I'm so looking forward to this. Big open question to get started. Who are you and what problem do you solve?
Oh, wow. That's a big question. I'm Dr. Tara. I am a certified sexologist and a tenured professor. That's the short version. Should we do long version or short version?
Give me the long version.
The long version. Okay, so I started in academia. I have my master's and my PhD in human communication, particularly in how humans interact, communicate in various different relational and sexual contexts. When I finished my PhD, I got my dream job as a tenure track professor, so a university professor. And I've been there now over 10 years. Wow. I've been there now 10 years at Cal State University, Fullerton. So when I got this job, I was like, ooh, score. Like, I'm going to be a professor forever. Love it. Love the work-life balance. You get summer off, winter off. No better job. But then once I earned my tenure, I don't know, in England, do you guys have that?
Not massively. No, I don't think so.
Okay, so in academia, just like, in corporate America, like in corporations, you have like titles, right? Like director, VP, whatever. In academia, you come in as like, you can be adjunct professor, which is like the lowest. And then you can become assistant professor, associate, tenured professor. So when you get tenure, it's sort of the highest position you can have as a professor. Usually it takes 10 years. It took me 5. It took me 5 years to become a tenured professor. When I learned the news, I thought it was going to be this like pinnacle of my career. Like, oh yes, like I have achieved it. Now I can cruise and just be a professor for the rest of my life. But I actually experienced the opposite, almost like sadness of like, okay, so now that big goal is gone. What's next? My students were actually the people that encouraged me to start social media and podcasts, because they were like, oh, you're so entertaining in class. Like, we just wish that our friends and siblings that don't go to school here can listen to you or watch you. And that's when I started my, I would say, digital media empire. That now I have over 2.5 million followers across different platforms. But when I started that, I did not expect this to happen. When I started it, I just thought, oh, I'll have like a small account teaching sex education because the world needs it. 6 months later, I was at like 300K on TikTok. A year later, I was at 1 million on TikTok. Wow. A year and a half later, I was at 1.5 million on TikTok. So it blew up. And with that came so many different opportunities. So now my business, apart from teaching, because I'm still a full-time professor, my business is social media. So digital media, website, blog, and Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, podcasts. So I monetize for all of those things, as well as doing TV, because after my accounts blew up, executives reached out and was like, hey, have you ever thought about being on TV? Have you, you'd be so good at it. You want to try? And this was 4 years ago when I tried out for Celebs Go Dating and became the sex and relationship expert on Celebs Go Dating 4 years ago, because this is my 4th season. And now I have 2 other TV shows that will be coming out as well. So I'm transitioning. I've been transitioning, I feel like, my whole life because I was a professor. Then I transitioned into doing social media and podcasts. Then I transitioned into now doing mass media and like traditional media. And so, yeah, that's where I am right now. And that's who I am. And the problem I solve is I help people feel less shame and more pleasure in their daily life, whether or not it's by themselves or connecting with their partners.
Lovely. So you've got all of these different information outlets. You've
Yeah.
got television, blog, social media, and live classroom as well. When you think about the people that consume that information, what are the typical symptoms that they might be facing in their life that they're looking to Dr. Tara to fix?
So many. Let's see. Single people oftentimes experience lack of sexual confidence, and that doesn't just involve sex. Lack of sexual confidence show up in dating, in relational communication, in the ability to escalate a relationship, which means not getting friend zoned. Like, you have to have that sexual confidence in order to escalate a relationship from first meetup to second date, to third date, to having sex, to, developing a relationship together. A lot of single people struggle with that right now, especially millennials and Gen Zs, those that spend a lot of time on their phones, scrolling and not really talking to people in real life. So that's typical for single people. Couples, I would say lack of sexual exploration. And the symptoms are sexless marriages, sexless relationships, lack of motivation, so lack of sexual initiation, very, very common. Just a couple weeks ago, I was speaking at an event where it was all women. And the number one thing that they brought up was, my husband and I haven't had sex for X amount of time. Is that normal? And that X amount of time from all the people that reported it that day was ranging from like, oh, we haven't had sex for 6 months to we haven't had sex for 5 years. Wow. So it is like an epidemic. The lack of sexual connection in long-term relationships is an epidemic.
Gosh. Oh, God. I'm so tired. I've just been talking to qualified prospects all day without any wait time.
How have you been doing it? Because I've been cold calling people on my mobile, and I reckon I've spoke to one person.
No. Stop that right now and use Nooks.ai.
Why? What does Nooks do?
It finds me the right people to call, and it calls them, and it connects with them over and over and over again.
So you're saying it's Nooks.ai, and I can just be speaking to qualified decision makers all the time?
No other better connection, right?
Wow, Nooks.ai.
Where does you mentioned shame and pleasure up front. Where do those two fit into that puzzle there? So we've not had sex for 5 years. Where does that fit into shame and pleasure?
Everywhere. So depriving yourself from pleasurable connection with your partner can produce more shame, because then you go, oh God, like now there's no turning back. They feel shame that, oh, it's been 6 months, we haven't touched each other. Are we even normal? Are we even in love? Should we be in this relationship? Are we compatible? Should we get a divorce? What about the kids? What about the house? There's so much shame around not having sex, but there's also a lot of shame surrounding trying to have more sex. So whether or not you're on this side of wanting more sex with my partner, but they keep rejecting me, or God, my partner keeps trying to initiate, but I just don't feel like it. There's shame everywhere. Whether you're trying to initiate more or whether you're rejecting all the time, you both feel the shame.
Wow. So where could people, because that sounds like a common thing, right?
Oh, it's extremely common when so this phenomenon is called sexual desire discrepancy.
Right.
And it's an extremely common phenomenon where one partner has a much higher sexual desire, aka sex drive, than the other person, which means the person with a higher sex drive initiates all the time, consistently getting rejected. by listening to that, you might think, oh, like poor guy. And I'm assuming it's a guy just because statistically in heterosexual relationship, it's typically the guy that has a higher sexual desire, but not always. I was in a marriage previously where I had a higher sex drive than my husband. So not always, but there is a pattern of heterosexual relationship being the guy has a higher sexual desire and initiate more often than the woman. In this scenario, people think, oh, poor guy, like he just gets rejected all the time. His wife doesn't like give him time in a day, doesn't want to connect with him. When in fact, the woman carries a lot of shame as well. The woman's also like, oh, like it doesn't feel good rejecting people for any good person out there, right? Unless they're a psychopath and like, yeah, fucking love rejecting, right? But generally, like if you love your partner and you're in a partnership together and you know you've been together for so long and you may have kids or whatever, like you love your partner. So rejecting sucks, but you're just not in the mood. Or maybe you don't find them attractive. And that's a hard thing to say and that's a hard thing to accept. A lot of women, I hosted this drinks event. It's like basically drinks and dildos in LA where we have drinks and just like vent about sex problems. Most of the women in their 40s that I've met that have been in long-term relationships, whether or not it's married or just committed relationship, have said, oh God, is this bad to say? But like, I just don't find him that attractive anymore.
Wow.
Like I find myself like looking at guys and just like, oh wow, like I'd get with him. Not my husband.
Wow.
So it's actually really, really, really common, but women are so good at making things private like that. Like the men wouldn't know that they no longer are desired by their wives or girlfriends.
Is there advice you give maybe for both parts? So let's imagine it's a heterosexual relationship, but like for a male and female looking to kind of reignite in a relationship, like they don't want to be there, they want to bring it back on the table. Where could they start?
No, you're fucked. Get a divorce.
You heard it here first.
Just kidding. No, there are ways to reignite that passion and the intimate connection. There are prerequisites though to get there, because people ask this question all the time and I always give them proper answers, but it's not an applicable answer if the people that listening don't have the prerequisites.
Okay.
Let's talk about the prerequisites.
Yeah,
are you guys married?
I am.
Both in partners. Well, I've got, she's a partner. She's
okay.
She's not a wife yet.
How long have you been together?
4 and a bit years.
Okay.
7 years.
Okay. So you're about 7-year itch at the moment. In research, it's typically the time where people start questioning about their intimacy.
Okay.
Because you've done life for so long together. Interactions can become logistics based. What are we having tonight for dinner? Who's gonna drive to this place on Saturday? It becomes a little bit more logistical. And when there's a lot of logistics involved, it takes away the excitement, novelty, and curiosity that a highly passionate sex life needs. So in research, we call it the 7-year itch. We have a 3-year hump and a 7-year itch and then a 10-year divorce. So
Wow. We're not there yet.
doesn't mean lots of people are very successful in their relationships and they get over these things, but because they are proactive. But yeah, at that about 7 years is when people start questioning like, oh, like, do we have enough sex? Do we prioritize each other enough? And then the 3-year hump is typically because like the honeymoon phase is well over. Right? That oxytocin, dopamine at the beginning, like the new relationship energy, like the NRE, we call it NRE, is gone. So now it's like we're doing life together. What does it look like? So there's that and then there's that. But going back to prerequisites, and I wonder if you guys can reflect and see if you have it. I think the first prerequisite in the ability to reignite a passionate relationship, the first prerequisite would be a growth mindset. Like 2 people need to be the people that go, let's do something about it. Like, it's not my fault, it's not your fault. We both kind of fall into routines, but let's do something about it together. I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to grow with you. Let's find ways to find passion back into our relationships. Do you feel like you have that?
Yeah, I've got 4 children as well. So like me and my wife definitely
Are you
have that.
Mormon?
No, not Mormon. Definitely not. But me and my wife have definitely had that thing of like, shit, the kids are asleep. Like now's the time. So probably a bit of logistics mixed with like spontaneity.
You have crazy sperm.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll tag them in the Instagram.
4 kids.
Yeah, 4 kids. But yeah, so I can definitely reflect that. I think something that maybe I've learned in the last few years as well is like someone's cycle, like how obviously there's like a week where me and Jack always laugh about like your partner's very attracted to you, and then maybe a week where you're like, oh, have I done something wrong? And just learning how that flows and works has been helpful.
And you have a business. Does she have a business as well?
Yeah, she's a therapist.
So well, she's a therapist. Well, that's kind of a cheat code, isn't it? So she has to have a growth mindset.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what she calls me.
Growth mindset,
Yeah.
or a grower.
Well, more
Both.
of a both. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that should be easier if 2 partners are very, very much in like growth mindset philosophy, where it's like, I'm always willing to learn. I'm not like offended by anything. Give me feedback. So you're good with that. What about you? Do you feel like you have that prerequisite of both people loving, like being in a growth mindset?
Yeah, definitely. I think like we talk, I don't know if this is like the right thing to say, but like we will openly compare our relationship to like other friends. So she's got friends that have young children as well, who maybe they're having like a very sexless relationship, or it's not where it could be. But I don't know. I know comparison is the thief of all joy, but like by knowing, okay, that's the lay of the land for maybe other people, it reflects of, oh, this feels like we're in a good place. But like when we talk about growth mindset, it's always about that is core, whether it's sex, relationship, business, it's personal development. I think 2 entrepreneurs on this side of the table, we're both attracted to people that like want to get better. Otherwise we'd be a bit like, But my partner as well, she's very much like, she's like a real homemaker. Like she was a nurse and now we've got 2 children. And she was like, I just want this for this chapter. I think, growth mindset. Tick.
Check.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I'm happy.
Secondly, this is going to be hard, but I don't know if you are willing to be honest.
You've turned the tables here, Dr. Tara. Turn up the heat.
The best way to show people watching and listening how this works is to actually apply immediately. So this is actually the best way, rather than you asking me theoretical questions.
Okay.
Be honest. From 1 to 10. Do you find your partner attractive? 1 is she can work on things. 10 is she's fucking smoking hot. Can't stop jumping on her.
I'm at a 10.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got a new baby, so when the baby's not crying, I'm a solid 9.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can look at your partner and go like, wow, I am lucky.
Yeah, I don't walk down the street and see other people and be like, oh my God, I want to bone something. I'm like,
Sorry, mate.
sorry. It's all coming out now.
You don't want to bone him?
It depends.
How many pints down?
Yeah, exactly.
So both of you have the second prerequisite, like you truly find your partner attractive.
Yeah.
So for those that are watching and listening, if you're here and you're like, oh shit, like I might be struggling with that a little bit, because sometimes in long-term relationships, unless people have been taking care of themselves, they look different from the way they look the first year they were dating or second year they were dating. And not only look different, maybe sometimes they act different. Their personality changed. Maybe when you met, oh, they're so ambitious. That was really attracted me to them. And then they sort of hit a plateau and they're just like, fuck it all. I don't care. You can lose attraction because of that. Because, oh, where was this person that I met, a couple years ago? So attraction is not just physicality, not just physical attraction. It's like personality, task, competence, intelligence, ambition for life, sense of adventure, like all these things, right? Because if people change but they don't change for the better, then you are allowed to not find them attractive, right? Like monogamy, I assume both of you are monogamous. Yeah. Monogamy doesn't mean that you are required to always find your partner attractive. It's like both people need to be working on that. So if you have that prerequisite, then the third prerequisite
this is going to be a fucking curve. I'm ready for it.
The third prerequisite is previous sexual experiences with them, and whether or not both of you have the sexual attitudes of exploration? Do you find that both of you are quite traditional when it comes to sexual exploration? Or do you find there's room for exploration and you are curious? Where do you think you...
Let's get an example from you on that. So like what is the spectrum, you would say?
So actually in my book, How Do You Like It? If you go to chapter 1, the very first chapter is what is your sexual profile? You need to take that quiz. And the results will tell you what your sexual profile is. One of the dimensions, and I mean, I tested this scale on like 3,000 people before I wrote it in a book and published it. But one of the dimensions is whether you're leaning traditional or you're leaning kinky. Traditional means you enjoy like conventional sex, and that could be like missionary, doggy, hand stuff, oral, but nothing too crazy, right? Maybe a vibrator. But things that the general norm, the public would say, yeah, that sounds about right. That's like leaning traditional. If you're leaning kinky, it means you like or you're interested in non-traditional, unconventional sexual practices. That could be anything from anal, BDSM, tantric sex, orgasmic hypnosis, anything like that. Like sex parties, erotic workshops, anything outside the norm would be leaning towards kinky. And of course, even kinkiness itself is on a spectrum, right? You can be a little kinky and you can be like, strapped in, like electrocuted. So there's range for everything. So do you guys think you are in more of the traditional sense, or do you have the sense of interest of exploration?
I would personally say traditional, but there are like occasion, normally led by my wife, of like, and you quite spontaneous as well, of like, this is something that I'd like to do, or this is something that I'm going to introduce. The kids are away, kind of thing. Let's introduce this. I would personally say, like, I sometimes worry that I'm maybe like a bit vanilla sometimes. Like, I'm super open to everything, like trying things. But
that's a good attitude. Like when you're like, you know what? It's just like the time hasn't been right, like, or we haven't had time, but I'm so open. Which means if, like, let's say if I say, hey, this weekend there's this retreat, and it's like yoni massage and penis worshipping retreat. You should go. You guys should go. Maybe you'll find a nanny for your kids and then you'll go. You know what I mean? Yeah. Versus some people go like, oh, that's not for me.
Yeah, straight away without even thinking
about it. You'd be like, fuck yeah, I'll go.
Yeah. But then I do meet people particularly in like the business world, who have quite extreme, what I would consider like quite extreme fetishes. And then I think, oh, I'm definitely not that. Do you know what I mean? So like sometimes I think like in the spectrum I'm probably quite vanilla, but kind of open to tipping over.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, what you just said is on point, because last year I trained to become a professional dominatrix. Wow. So before that, I have written about BDSM and dominatrix and taught my class in the university theoretically about what that power dynamic looks like. But then last year, I kind of hit a wall with like teaching theoretically. I'm like, I don't want to just talk the talk. I want to walk the walk. So I'm going to go and get an intensive class with this dominatrix that has been a dominatrix for 25 years. And I was trained by her, and now I have a certificate and everything. I'm a qualified dom.
Wow, congrats.
But thank you. But you know what I found? That day, she brought 2 slaves to help us, like to help train me. One of them was a TV executive. The other one was a lawyer. And it was really interesting because there were so many rules that day. Like they had to be on their knees. They couldn't ever come up at the same level as us. Like they always have to be under us. They couldn't look at us in the eyes unless they're spoken to. Whoa. And they can't speak to us until they're spoken to. So it was really interesting to like do these things and actually, like walk the walk. Afterwards, I felt like so much more confident in that arena because I've done like dom sub stuff in bed, but it's like so vanilla comparing to the training. And so that gave me a lot of confidence, so much so that I've been sort of an advocate for just women in general taking the dom class just for fun, because it helped me negotiate my deals better. It helped me negotiate my time better. It helped me communicate better with my partner, like my boundaries. It helped. I was already confident, but it made me even more confident after that training. So I've been telling all the women in my life, the ones that I feel like would try, that they should go try this class.
Zach Thompson, do you ever get sick of calling kebab houses and nanas when you're trying to speak to qualified decision makers?
I do.
Well, I think I might have found the solution. 98% correct qualified data, which means when you're cold calling, you're always going to be speaking to the right person. Do you know what the solution is?
It can't be Prospeo, can it?
Prospeo. Let me spell it for you. Prospeo
I-O.
Wow. If you're looking for great qualified data, then you know what the solution is.
Prospeo.io.
Prospeo.io. What's the this is fascinating. So what's the psychology? I can see the benefit from the dom side. So you said like TV executive, lawyer, so like real high performance roles. Is there anything that you've found in the psychology of like why that is enjoyable for people from these maybe high performance roles that enjoy being submissive?
It allows them to surrender. When you have high caliber professions, all day pressure's on you to perform. All day pressure's on you to make decisions. You make hundreds of decisions every day, some big, some small, but you're consistently expected to make good decisions that impact hundreds or thousands of people in the company. So much pressure, right? People generally want to surrender. They don't want all this responsibility. Do you like paying taxes? No one fucking wants responsibility, but we have to because we live in a capitalistic world. Like, we're not just roaming around in the field collecting food and, kumbaya, right? Like we participate in this capitalistic world. And that's why for these people, majority men, they just want like 2 hours off, completely off. My dom tells me exactly what to do, clear boundaries, clear communication. I know what is expected of me, and I'm here to just let go and just do whatever I'm told.
Fascinating. So we spoke about, like, at the beginning, two different sides. So you've got the relationships and then you've got the single people. One of the things you were talking about was like sexual confidence. So I think, like, if we put that over there, if I think about just confidence without thinking of sexual confidence, in order to build confidence, you need to have some form of evidence. So we talk about it in our book about the evidence shelf. So you can collect all these different pieces of evidence that say you are the person that you say that you are. If you don't have any of that confidence to be sexually confident, how do you start the journey to start collecting those pieces and become more sexually confident?
I love that, by the way. I love the evidence shelf. I love that. I might start quoting you for it.
Take it.
Yeah.
Take it.
I would say it's the same method. Start with education. Give yourself some grace. None of us have received comprehensive instructional education when it comes to sex. We were teens, raging hormones, erections, wet pussy, and then all of a sudden just expected to know how to do it when we're 16. You're in a relationship now, have sex for the first time. Like, how does it work? Just put it in, right? We don't know how to have good sex. In general, society does not know how to have good sex. We were never taught. We were also never told to pick up a book about it to learn. We were told a lie that you should just know how to do it. It's animal instinct. Have you seen animals fuck? They fucking kill each other. They literally, like, some animals will explode when they orgasm and die. Like, are we animals or do we just want to have some orgasms? Like, shut up. we need to grow up, learn, and move on. So I always tell people the very first thing to do is to educate yourself properly. And that can be through so many modalities. It can be through reading sex books. And that's the easiest one. Read it or listen to an audiobook. So reading is the first one, reading a book. You can read a lot of articles. There's a lot of articles online now, right? Whether it's Cosmo, Men's Health, GQ. There's so many articles about pleasure and how to approach sexual wellness. You can listen to sex-related podcasts, expose yourself to those ideas and concepts and explorations. And then you want to start applying that to yourself. So you might want to start self-pleasure. Like if you've been masturbating your whole life one way, maybe learn other ways to do it and then try it on yourself. It will help you then explain to your partner how to give you pleasure. I have had men in my practice. So I have a private practice in LA. Long wait list. Don't try. Very busy. But men will go like, oh, I just don't, my wife doesn't know how to give me a blowjob. Like, it's good, but it's not great. I feel like it could be better. I'm like, well, have you ever given her feedback? They go, oh no, like she'd be pissed. She's like, already, I should be grateful she's giving me a blowjob. I said, well, that's not a good position to be in, isn't it? You're getting a mediocre blowjob from her and you're not giving her feedback to get better. So both of you are just in this loop of like mediocrity. One day someone will be like, fuck, I hate this. Because I'm sure she's not loving it. Yeah. If you're not showing like that you're loving it and you're into it, she's probably just doing it just cause, like a maintenance blowjob. You know, all married couples have that. Maintenance blowjob. So in that case, then that could be a problem. But like communication is extremely important. And I think when you expose yourself to these things, like reading sex books together, listening to sex podcasts together, then that is a conversation starter. Like, oh, I just listened to this episode about, you know, like let's say using a butt plug while having penetration to have DP. Specific example. I just had that episode actually because people were like, one of the most common porn videos that men watch is double penetration because they just think it's so taboo, kinky, and hot. But a couple asked me like, how can we have it without involving another guy? I'm like, a butt plug. If you put in a butt plug and have vaginal sex with your partner, that's DP. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's what I told them. That's what you do. But ultimately, if you are in a relationship where you are able to communicate to one another, and you can give feedback, and you expose yourself to these sex-related content, whether it's podcasts or reading a book, that's a really good start.
Okay, so we've got one end of the spectrum of people who maybe aren't as confident. One of the things that we hear about, young people hear about, we hear about it, I'm sure you hear about it, is like more the Bonnie Blue extreme of, is that someone who's a advocate for sex, like be sexually empowered, have sex with lots and lots of people, or is that someone making the most of sex sells and extreme things sell and I can kind of hack into men's brains by pushing this out there?
I have a professional answer and a personal answer.
Okay, give us both.
A professional answer, I would say the woman is exercising body autonomy and therefore I support it because feminism. If she feels like this is how I want to use my body, I'm not going to be the one, a moral police and go, oh, but that's wrong or you shouldn't do that, right? Mm-hmm. Like professionally support that because it's a woman making her own decision. And if she's a brilliant marketer and millions of men subscribe to her, giving her $5 million a month, like she's a good businesswoman if I'm looking at it professionally as a business owner and feminist. On a personal level, I wouldn't want my daughter to do that. Just because I know through, experience, professional and personal experience, that when you do have sexual relations with people, and I mean, I'm all for casual sex, but I don't know if I would have sex with 2,000 people at the same time. Is that how many people?
I think it was
1,000.
Was it 1,000 or 10,000?
I don't know.
Can someone Google it?
1,000.
Google it. I know there was a lot of
1,000.
Got some experts in the room.
So, I mean, he's 25. Let him be. It's her demographic. But personally, like, I wouldn't condone something like that just because it affects you mentally, psychologically, physically, emotionally, energetically. So personally, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't want my daughter to do it. I wouldn't want my friends to do it. But I can respect a woman being in her grind. So that's why I have two different answers.
Do you think there's a thing of, so there's obviously OnlyFans and things are readily accessible.
Oh, R.I.P. The owner just died.
Yeah, the owner just died. The other thing that maybe is a new thing is this AI boom has created AI girlfriends and AI chatbots. And
I've had a few companies reach out to me to make a Dr. Tara AI so people can date me.
wow. So when they approach you and they present that as an offering, what do you think about the concept?
I'm not opposed to AI or technology. Like, I'm with it. You know, let's make life easier. Let's free up more time so we can be with our loved ones. I don't want an AI of me. I don't want it to be readily accessible to all these people out there. And people can say like, oh, but why? But it's not you anyways. Like, it's a clone of you that lives on the internet. Like, who cares? You know, it's not like affecting me personally. We've only known each other for a couple hours, but I'm a very spiritual person, like highly spiritual. I pray every day. I also masturbate every day, but I pray every day. Right after I pray, I masturbate. But I believe in the higher being, and I believe in energy, and I believe if my being is out there in the ether, and people can date Tara online and jerk off to it, and do all these things, I feel it's gonna affect me energetically, and that can sound woo-woo to some people, but if you truly studied energy and read through some of what like Nikola Tesla or Albert Einstein talked about energy, like you'd understand it's real and it's very, very, very true, just like natural science. I wouldn't want that on my energy. Like, I want my energy protected and pure directly from the source.
There must be things on that though that become, because you're so out there on social media and television.
You're like, people are already jerking off to you on your social media.
You put it in better words than I did.
It's probably true because should we have a section where we just look through my DMs?
Please get them out.
It's horrible.
But I think
What is it? What's the most common thing you get in the DMs?
I want to bust inside you.
Wow, I get that as well.
That's just me. But it is but there's this parasocial relationship where people are building this image of what you are in their head, and like you say, there's many sides to you. How do you combat that to remain kind of true to yourself, because you're now out there in the public eye and you're known for talking about sex? It probably creates a weird, how do you keep those boundaries?
I don't engage with them. I think people can throw a lot of stones at you, but unless you pick it up, it's not your stone. So I don't pick them up. I get a lot of creepy DMs out of any of my friends that are influencers, because they're not sex positive influencers, right? It could be like beauty influencer, exercise, gym, like business, whatever. I get them the most, and I don't pick up the rocks. Like, I don't pick up the stones. They can throw it at me. I'm really good at blocking them energetically and mentally. I see them and I kind of laugh. Not making fun of these people, because for whatever reason they feel like that's satisfying to them, and I think they have the prerogative to have that for themselves. But at the same time, whether or not I engage with it is my part, my participation, and I never engage in it, so I don't really care. Unless someone threatened my well-being in person, because I have had someone in the past that kept DMing me and I didn't respond. They get angry. They email my work email, like found it on university website, email my work email saying, I know where your office is. I'm going to show up.
Wow.
So that is not okay. Report it to the police. That's not okay. But online, if people have parasocial relationships with me, if it helps them better their day or their relationships or their self-confidence, I'm for it.
Our books are now open. If you are sat there wondering where your next sale is going to come from, wondering why your pipeline isn't full of meetings with qualified decision makers, look no further, because the We Have a Meeting team has got you covered. Just go to www.wehaveameeting.com.
Speaking of books, if you are looking to get better at sales, communication, and making more money, our book, Sales is Therapy, is available on Amazon now. I find the psychology piece quite fascinating, because you've said there that your other friends don't get them to this extent. If I was thinking about people that we know in our lives that are female that aren't influencers and they just have, a normal following or whatever, if they were to receive one message like that, it'd be like, what the hell is going on? What do you think from the psychological lens? Why do you think people deem it appropriate then? Because you talk on this nature, why do they then feel it's appropriate to, I guess, message you things like this?
Great question. It's the Madonna whore complex. Have you heard of it?
I haven't, but I'm very interested.
I'm Madonna. He's the whore.
I can tell. It's the long hair, isn't it? He's an animal. So the Madonna whore complex is... the Madonna whore complex states that, a woman is either a good girl, a wifey material, a Madonna, or else if she's outspoken, she talks about sex, she has strong sexual desire, she explores sexually, she's a whore. There is an in-between. There's no gray area for women. Women are either wifey or side chick. That's the narrative in popular culture, in rap music, in movies, in things that we consume for the last 30 years of pop culture. So I'm the whore because of what I talk about, because of how I talk about it, because of how I dress, because of how I show up, because I date multiple people. I'm the whore. And therefore, the whore, anything can be done to them. They're not a Madonna. And therefore, it gives people this sense of, oh, if she's that way, she's okay with anything. And that's why psychologically, these people feel they could send me those messages. And we talked about this prior to we started rolling. It's never attractive people. Because my team scans them. I have a big social media team. So by the way, if you've sent me a dick pic, 6 different girls and gay guys have seen it. And it's never attractive people. So that's another psychology piece to think about. Why is it that conventionally unattractive men feel they can do this versus conventionally attractive men don't do them? Why do you think that is?
Probably because I think it's probably something to do with rejection. Easier to take rejection behind a screen than it would be to go up to someone in a nightclub or a bar or something and take that rejection. Maybe experience that themselves a lot in earlier life, and perhaps then okay, I'm only going to do this via this screen. And also, I think there's a saying about I think it's men that are super horny, it's like being chained to a madman. And then when it's out of your system, you sometimes who the hell was that guy that just took over?
Oh,
so there's probably a mixture of all those things. Yeah, you're who was that guy? What was he doing?
I bet they would think that if I start showing their moms their DMs to me. Who the fuck was that?
That's a new podcast show for you.
A whole thing, just every day reading my DMs. Jesus.
In the guest share.
I mean, it's really crazy. But yeah, what do you think?
I think it's that lack of rejection. It's maybe it's a 1 in 1,000 chance that if I say this crazy message, I think people don't think about it logically. No one's going to receive a message that says, I want to bust in you and go, oh my God, you're not going to believe
tomorrow?
it.
Question mark?
Yeah, I've had guys complimenting my eyes. I was waiting for the bust message.
Meet me at Nobu.
Yeah.
Obviously they lack experience with women. All of these people. So I have come to the conclusion that these people, it's either it's they lack experience interacting with real women in real life. So they actually truly don't know that they can't say that. Like truly, because they have never had any sort of relationship or friendship with females since they hit puberty, and therefore don't know how to interact with any woman. And given that I talk about, you know, balls and cocks online, they just think, oh, like there's leeway. Like I can probably say this, maybe shoot the shot. So that's one thing. And that's sort of innocent. It's a bit idiotic, but it's innocent. The other side of this, and it's a bit dark, is the manosphere. The other side of this is some of these men actually hate women and are sexist and think that they can just say what the fuck ever because she's just a female. You know, she's under me. She's inferior to me. I can say whatever I want. I'm a man. I can do whatever I want. So there's that as well. And you can almost feel it from the tone of the DM. I don't read all of them, obviously, but I have a team that does. They don't read all of them. They scroll through. If there's an important person DM me, then they'll tell me. But you can kind of tell like there's that sort of desperation, lack of education, lack of experience, just dumb, like woman dumb. And then there's that like, I'm better than you, bitch feeling, and can be scary.
What have you watched the Manosphere documentary?
I have.
What were your thoughts on it?
It's sad. I'm sad. Ever since I started doing my social media, I have had a lot of men that thank me for the education and the acceptance that I provide them on social media. Because some of them may have not had experience having sex with a woman or having sex for the first time or preparing for it, because my demographics like Gen Z and millennials. So for those, I always say like, you know, you're welcome. Like, just know that you are loved. Like one day you'll be in a relationship and it will be love, and there will be consistency in your life, someone that loves you and accepts you. And I think those men in the manosphere don't truly believe that. The followers, I mean, not the speakers, the followers, the young boys that follow these men that go like, oh yeah, like he's my idol, like yeah, fuck the bitches, like, you know, it's get money. And so they probably think it's like just gains and money, right? Like work out, work, get money, fuck bitches, you know. Same. I've heard this since I was 10. But what they truly want, what every single human in the world wants, is to feel accepted and loved. Always. And I think that's why when it comes back to sex is the first symptom of a relationship that perhaps lacks sense of acceptance and sense of love and desire. When you're fighting a lot or you're deprioritizing your relationship, the very first place that the symptom appears is the bedroom. And people don't take it seriously because they feel other things in life are more important. And rightfully so for them. Children are more important. Finances are more important because that's how we have resources for the family. Family life's more important. Our jobs are more important. Usually, when people already get into a long-term relationship, sex is the last thing on the list of how important things are. But what people don't understand is when the sex part is your top 3, the other things flourish as well. I always say, orgasms give me the best ROI. Because they do. They truly do. I don't drink caffeine, so I need to show up with lots of energy everywhere I go based on what I do. I don't drink alcohol to socialize with people. I need to have this sense of, you know, people call it liquid courage. They drink a lot and they have the courage. I just masturbate, get wet, and have the courage. It's also liquid courage. So for me, that gives me energy. Like that's how I maintain work, presence, life, connections, family, friends. I make way more money ever since I embraced my sexuality and take it seriously and make it top 3 priority. I have made so many amazing friendships. I have incredible romantic relationships in my life. I'm a better daughter, sister, friend, boss because I care about my sex life. So I hope that that's a living example of how things can be flipped around and you can see that prioritizing sex isn't take away time and energy, it's adding.
I've absolutely loved this conversation,
Me
Tara.
too.
Thank you so much. I've laughed so much. Like it's been amazing. We always ask the guests to give one question to the audience. I'm so excited to see where you take this. If there's one question that they should be asking themselves right now, what is that question?
What does a fulfilling sex life look like for me?
And why that question specifically?
Because people have never thought about it. Everyone says they want a good sex life. What does it look like? What does it look like for you? Because for every single person will be different. The lawyer that showed up at my Dominatrix training, his fulfilling sex life is going to be very different from you guys, right? So yeah, what is your version?
Amazing. Thank you so much. If people want to find you, read your books, get in touch, how can they go about it?
They can go to my website. That's lovebites.co. That's LUVBITES.co. Or my Instagram, also lovebites.co. My TikTok, also lovebites.co. My book is called How Do You Like It? A Guide for Getting What You Want in Bed. It's everywhere that you get books. Waterstones, Barnes & Nobles.
Amazing. Thank you so
Thanks
much,
so
Tara.
much.
Thank you.